What it is, Cyber World, it's your girl, the one and only Ash Brown, and this is Ash Brown Uncensored. On this particular program, I talk a little bit about everything. It may be pop culture related, but it's probably Ash Brown related. So you got to stay tuned to see what I'm going to talk about today. Well, darlings, I had a question from one of my supporters on social media. Yes, thank you, Jasmine, for the question. I'm not really sure where it came from. I have been very open about my life and things that I've experienced and dealt with. So she asked me about my love life, and as far as have I ever really truly been in love, and was it everything that people say that it is? And I have to say, I have been in love more times over than I really care to share. Like, honestly and truthfully, I've been totally, wholeheartedly in love. However, the love was never reciprocated. It wasn't reciprocated. And while we go into that, I will definitely say young girls and even some of us old veterans in this thing called life, right? Don't put all your faith in a man. Do not put all your faith. You're going to be so disappointed if you put all your faith in him and then he turns out to be exactly what he is. So I met my very first boyfriend when I was 17. He was 18. And honestly, I think that there were mutual attractions across the way of it, because I think I liked him because he didn't go to my school. And, he was from, the South Side. He's from the south part of town, and so I think that played a part in it. And then on the reciprocal of that, he dated me because he knew I was a goody-goody. And he knew that people would look at him with higher regard dealing with a chick like me, including his family. So I was just so, keep in mind, I've never dated prior to this. This was the first boyfriend, first guy to introduce to the fam, all the things. Donna Teresa loved him. And it just seemed like, okay, this is my guy, this is it. Keep in mind, we met senior year. of high school. And that time went fast. It went really, really quick. And we used to talk and spend hours and hours on the phone, just talking about everything. He would actually lead the conversation in the type of house that we would get, and he wanted a special room to smoke in, and all these other different things. And I just was going along with it. I was like, yeah, sure, absolutely. We'll work out the details later, right? That's fancy work. And there came a point where I think he realized before I did that we were about to go off to college. We were about to go to schools in very different geographical areas. And he had introduced the idea of, why don't we just kind of take a break and, kind of break things off for a while. And I was just so no, because you're my guy. You're the guy, right? Yeah, you're the guy. No. I don't need to go out there and explore. I know what I want. You're the guy. No. We'll figure things out. It'll be interesting. And I have to say that was, part of that was on me. I take responsibility for that aspect of it, because had I allowed for us to have a quote unquote break, I think that I would have been more open to exploring dating him in the future if we had put a pause there. But I didn't want to break up, and he didn't know how to break up with me. So we were just kind of, okay, we're just going to make this work some kind of way. And I remember a phone call to his dorm and me asking rewind. So I got my transfer, and I needed to transfer to another school. And I was just so excited about it. And he called, and kid y'all not, he asked me for $100. He needed $100 because there was some kind of legal situation going on, and he really needs the money, blah, blah, blah. And so me, like a dummy, me as the faithful girlfriend, I go and I Western Union him the money. And I remember my roommate, shout out to Vicky, because she was the first one to tell me, he ain't shit, Ash. You need to just be living your life, go enjoy yourself, do what you gotta do. But he doing his thing. You need to go do your thing too. And I was like, no, I'm a good girl. Yeah, I'm faithful to my man. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And yeah, so I did that. And then I called him up one day and his roommate picked up. And I asked, I was like, yeah, so where's he at? And the roommate's like, oh, he out with his next chick. He out with the other chick. Every day he got a new chick. He's like, wait a minute, wait. You that girl from Georgia? You the Southern girl? Oh, you stupid as hell. If you think that this monkey is doing right by you, you crazy. You dumb as. And in that moment, it was just a gut punch for me. It was a gut punch. And I threw back some expletives at him. I did. I'm not going to lie about that. It got very, very heated in that moment. And I hung up on him. And that's when the distance started. And that's when... That's when he just stopped returning my calls. He stopped returning my calls. And then just created this big distance. And then when he got kicked out of school, I would spend my weekends. I would come up and pick him up, and I would take him car shopping. We'd go look at cars, we'd be at auctions. We'd go, he needed to apply for different jobs and stuff. So I'm going to get some money on the side. I was that chick taking him to those places. He don't talk about that. No, they love to paint me as the big bad wolf. They love to paint me as. I'm not the big bad wolf. You make me like this. I didn't want to be like this, but you set the fire. So what happened next was very interesting because he began to cut off all communication. I wasn't getting no calls. He got a job at Red Lobster. And I would even drop him off on my way to school. I would drop him off for work sometimes. Yeah. Drop him off, pick him up, even if I was heading that direction. And that's when they just stopped communicating altogether. Not returning calls, texts, nothing. And I was like, okay, I guess it's done. I guess it's over. And I happened to share this with my roommates who were from Savannah. Shout out to Franche and Tia. And they got riled up, y'all. I'm not a person that really I don't get riled up. I don't get angry. Oh, I'm finna do this to this dude and da-da-da-da-da. I'm really not that girl. I don't do that. So for me, it was very... I felt uneasy or whatever, but I was just like, okay, well, that's just it. They was like, no, you ain't about to let him just punk you out like that. No, you ain't about to let him... And I was like, what am I supposed to do? What's the game plan here? There is none. There is no game plan. And it was like, no, you going to go out there. You going to give him a piece of your mind. That's what you finna do. And keep in mind, these girls are younger than me, y'all. These girls, I don't even think they was 21 yet. They were super younger than me. And I was a junior at the time. I wasn't a senior yet. Junior, sophomore, I think it went in between there. Because when I transferred, I lost some of the credits. And that's a whole other story. But it was like, no, you better go up there. You better show him who he dealing with. And you ain't the one to be messing on and da-da-da-da. I said, I don't know you guys. And they're like, no. They started doing my hair, my makeup and stuff. And before I knew it, I was dressed to the T. They was like, yeah, we coming to. I was like, no. Y'all are hype on your own. Y'all cannot come with me. Absolutely not. That's when I put my foot down. But I went up to his job and the hostess knew me because, again, I had been up and through there already, right? The hostess came out and gave me a big hug. I was like, hey, where's he at? And the hostess was like, oh, he's there on the floor. And the hostess points across the floor. And as soon as he points, he and I, we lock eyes. We lock eyes and it's like a deer in headlights because he's like, oh, shit. What is she here for? What is she going to do? He does not know what to expect from this encounter because, again, he's never seen me in this atmosphere. He's never seen me this way. He thought that he could pretty much control everything. He can't control it. So I walk across the dining room floor and, hey, give him a little church hug, a little pat. And calling you and her call you back. And it's like, oh, I just been taking up extra shifts. I've been working and stuff. So Red Lobster's open 24/7. Like, y'all tell me, I don't know 24/7 Red Lobster where you can't call a motherfucker back and just say, hey, I got this going on, or whatever the case is. But just come out and don't be a coward about it. Be upfront with it. But I think he was petrified. In his face, I could see all of the color just completely just depleting him. And I said, oh, well, I just came by to say hi. Bye. And walked out. And in that moment, I didn't know how fucking powerful I could be. I didn't even know I had it in me. I didn't even know. And I was like, wow, I'm really that bitch. I am that bitch. And then, life goes on. So from that point on, I was just like, motherfuckers will waste your time. They will waste your energy. They will completely take everything out of you and turn around and act like they're not in fault. Okay. So love, I have known love. I have known to love, maybe in some cases too much. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's too much love I was putting out there. But anyways, this Joker was crazy. And still is crazy to this day, probably. So yeah, he was a real piece of work. Because after all of that, maybe a year and some change goes by, I get this number. Call him my phone. I'm like, who the heck is this? I don't know who it is. I'm picking up. They not responding. They not saying nothing. So I'm getting aggravated now because I'm about to block this number altogether. And so another time, pick up the number, and he got all the fire because I picked up and I think he asked for somebody. He tried to change his voice up, but I could tell it was him. And he asked for somebody. I was like, oh, this jerk. And I just hung up. And so he started talking and mumbling something, and I hung up. And then he kept calling again. I just started sending it to voicemail because I don't even want to talk to this person. They're out of their mind if they think I want to deal with them on a romantic tip again. Why? So you can leave me hanging like you did? No. So he left like a 7-8 minute voicemail. And this is when voicemail wasn't really regular. Like now it's more regulated, and I think it's more like maybe like 3 or 4 minutes. But it was like almost a 10-minute voice message this Joker left. And just was going through all the motions, and I know how hard in your heart. You don't give yourself too much credit. And let's not do that. Let's not do that. So eventually I started talking with him again. But it was not on I'm finna date you again. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We are not dating in this life ever again. Because you've shown me on more than one occasion that you're not worthy of my love and affection. You've shown me that too many times. Like I only need to bust my head on the concrete once to know, maybe that's not the move. So we start talking again, and he's keep inching in about dating and being together. I'm not interested. I'm not giving off any of that interest, none of that energy. And then his friend starts coming around. So his friend is also someone that I knew from high school because I hooked him up with one of my homegirls, but it didn't really work out. It was a whole thing. And the friend has a pretty traumatic experience and starts reaching out to me on a daily basis, all right? Calling all kinds of hours. Yeah. So the friend was out of state and just needed someone to talk to. So no issues with that, no problem. Meanwhile, X is still trying to find his good graces with me that he would never find because they don't exist. So, long story short and to the point, I messed around with the best friend. I did. Messed around with the best friend and called X, told him, thinking that this would be like, okay, he's going to be so upset and so angry. He's just going to be over this and he's never going to darken my phone or life ever again because he's so absolutely, not necessarily hurt, but agitated that I had done this thing. And so that's where my mind was, because that's just how I constructively put things together. That's not what happened, y'all. That is absolutely not what happened. OMG. So this guy, it turned into like an obsession for him. An obsession of getting back at me. Because he looked at that, me dealing with his best friend, as a dig. And he felt smited. Oh well, that's life. Life is gonna smite you sometimes. What can I do about that? I can't do anything about that. And so he spent like the better half of just many years trying to get back in my good graces, trying to get to a place where I wanted to date him. I never wanted to date him again, y'all. I was open to a friendship. I thought that at the minimum, we had, at the basis of our connection, there was a genuine friendship there. There was not. There was that. I mean, it took a couple of years for me to realize that, and a lot of life experiences to understand that person never liked me. And I'm not talking about gay or talking about his sexuality. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like genuinely as a person. He didn't see me as a human being. He saw me as a thing. He saw me as a possession of sorts. And not as a person with their own mind, with their own mindset, with their own ideas, with their own things that they want to do. So he spent a lot of time trying to, quote unquote, romanticize me. And when he reached out after his mom passed away, which she was such a sweet lady, to have such a demon of a son, it is absolutely, it's mind-boggling, honestly. I don't get how such a beautiful soul could give birth to Satan's minion. I don't know. But, so his mom passed, and that was really the thing to make me reconnect with him, because my mom had passed, and I knew that's a pain that you don't ever get over. You just learn to deal with it. So we reconnected, essentially, and his father was ailing. And his father, I remember him very fondly. Another sweet soul. Such a sweet soul. And for Satan to come out of that, I'm still puzzled. But yeah, so we reconnected. And the whole time we reconnected, he keeps hinting again as far as us getting together. Because now he's got children. Now he's got a house. That's not enough to sell someone like me. That's not enough for me to get back. Because at the end of the day, 20 plus years later, I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want to be a family with you. Is your family nice to be around? Sure, great, absolutely. That doesn't mean we're going to be together. And I think the last real thing for me to really, truly understand was he never looked at me as a person, which is a really jacked up thing to come to the realization about, but it needed to happen. Realization needed to be a part of the deal. But he is not the type of person that can survive in my life. Absolutely not. I don't have people around me that are shady. I don't have people around me that talk about, oh yeah, do you know how to fix taxes? Fixing taxes? You're talking to an ex-federal worker. I don't fix nothing. I give Uncle Sam everything Uncle Sam said I'm supposed to get. That's what happens here. I just don't know. I just don't know. But it's just so interesting. These people in life, isn't it something? These people. But yeah, so to answer her question in a very long, this is probably my longest little rant in a minute. Yes, I've been in love. Love has steered me in the wrong directions a couple of times. So now I am fully aware of when love is trying to misdirect me from my goal. Yeah. That's it. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I will holla at y'all on the flip side. Deuces.